What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay and the Shark. The Jay and Shark Show. We're back. It's Friday. It's 11/11, man. We're trying to get some cash. Free NBA picks every single day. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe, retweet the show on Twitter, share it to your social media, man. Get a shirt, all that good stuff. Shark, what's up with you, my brother? Everything cool with you?
Absolutely. Taking a breath. As you said, November 11th, 2022, 11:01 a.m. A lot of ones here. One power. Let's get in there. Let's dominate. 8 games on the card today. J Money playing the keys. We got the violin. We got the commercial coming on yet again. Always shout out to our sponsors who don't pay us yet, one day in the future. But let's get in there. Let's dominate. And let's begin a journey in upward movement in our efficiency right here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 11/11 going live at 11 a.m. Eastern. You see what I'm saying? We're trying to get some cash. Get the good luck vibes going. Hit that like button, subscribe. Is all that good stuff. Man, it's all business here. Let's get down to it. We got the Suns here. We're going to the streets of Orlando here, Sharp. We got the Magic getting 7.5 points versus the Orlando Suns versus the Phoenix Suns here, my guys. Suns laying 7.5 here on the road. Total of 217.5. Obviously, Ben Carroll is questionable here. Did see that Landry Shamet is ruled out for the Suns. They'll be interested to see if Chris Paul come back here, right? So obviously with that huge question mark of the starting point guard for the Suns, I don't have much on this game. I don't even think it really matters if he plays or not. It's all about the motivation of the Suns here. Do they want to smack the Magic? They're on the East Coast here. This is an uninspiring game, Shark.
Yeah, I think this is a tough game, and obviously you kind of laid the table here. But, you go through the schedule for Orlando. I think the standout point within this matchup is Orlando is developing home efficiency. Orlando is 3-1 ATS at home. 4-1. And they have been very effective against the West. When you really go through this, obviously an outright win, which burned me against Golden State going back a week ago, Thursday, 131-29. A game that either won, pushed, or lost, depending on your line, at a 126-123 game against Sacramento. Of course, they did lose. The only game, key point here, they were favored at home against the West. They did not cover against Houston on Monday night. And then, of course, a game Jay called correctly 2 nights ago on Wednesday, an outright win, 94-87 against Dallas. So I think what they're telling you here is when you want to buy Orlando, if you do, find them as a home underdog. It's where they function very well. And the other side of this game, honestly, you find Phoenix just in a really dead zone spot. There's not really a look ahead. I mean, they play at Miami next, but they don't play there until Monday night. So they get the whole weekend off. They're going to be hanging out in Florida, clearly. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. I'm not sure what this team does in their off time. I know D-Book has a nice little dating calendar on his phone. But, I mean, they got the whole weekend off, so that could go one of 2 ways. They could either go out there tonight and say, you know what, we got 2 days to hang out after this. Let's take care of business. Or their mind could just be in the weekend anyway. Free play here. I do lean Orlando. I think Orlando shows the sustainability at home as an underdog. I think in general, I think the motivation is not there for the Suns tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I looked at that as well. Usually when teams are playing the Magic, they come off the Heat game. This one, they have, like you said, a couple of days off, and then they go face the Heat. So you worry about their motivation. Usually when teams go down to Orlando, this team hasn't been good in recent years, right? So it just kind of seems like teams go on vacation, man, whenever they go face the Orlando Magic, specifically at the house as well. So that's kind of speaking towards what Shark is saying. Maybe they could be just kind of in vacation mode, especially when you live in Phoenix. You're in Florida. It's time to live the life up, my guys. So it's like I said, it's like I opened up in this one. It's all about the Suns' motivation. This one, if they're not motivated, they could lose this game outright. If they do want to go ahead and take care of the Magic, they could. If they like, maybe wait for Chris Paul in this one. Tough game, guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Boston, Shark. We got the Celtics laying 4.5 points versus the Denver Nuggets in this one, my guy. You got the hat on. You're going to go hit the dispensary or what? What we like here?
Yes, sir. Suddenly not so cash. November 11, 2022. The buy hat is engaged. And we're going specifically to, I think people probably know where I'm going with this if you follow the Denver Nuggets on the road. First quarter plus 1.5. And I want to make a clarification. I had said we're going to stay away from first quarters on Twitter. I'm a human being too. I was functioning on a little bit of recency bias. I was very annoyed. In a clear-headed state last night, I said to myself, how the hell are we going to stay off of Denver first quarter on the road at the East? Going back to last year, this team is 12-4 in their last 16 first quarters ATS at the East. Even better, they are 7-1 ATS first quarter at the East as an underdog. And it's pure psychology. And I thought maybe it was just last year. I thought it was Jokic without MPJ, without Jamal Murray. Apparently not. Last game at Indiana, they came out and absolutely hammered Indiana. And a key point here is they did the same thing last year. So you go back to what they did last year at Boston as a 6.5 dog for the game. This game is shorter. They did come out in the first quarter and the first half, 32-20 first quarter, 28-21 second quarter, and cover both. And you go to the other side of this game, Boston's in a bit of a funky spot, a sandwich spot here in between two games that they played Detroit, front end back-to-back. They have to go to Detroit tomorrow. The only other environment this season so far where Boston played this particular sandwich spot, they did play Chicago last Friday night on the front end of a home road back-to-back. They played the Knicks the following night. We had this game correctly, Jay. We had Chicago at +7. It was a line functionality spot for the game. This is a Denver line functionality spot for the game. And guess what Chicago did in that first quarter? 31-26 Chicago. Boston's coming off of a blowout first quarter against Detroit. This is all boxes checked. 1 unit, Denver first quarter +1.5 official.
I like it. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off that. The Nuggets obviously have a high-powered offense, guys. So this game, in theory, is crazy because the line is coming down as far as the total, but it opened up at 232.5. It's down to 230, but it's a tough game for me, man. I could understand the Nuggets here. Obviously, like I said, they got a high-powered offense over there as well as the Celtics as well. When those guys get to running and gunning with this fast break, it's tough to stop the Celtics. They will be without Brogdon here on their second unit here as well. So the Nuggets, they can match up well with them here. Could not talk you off that first quarter play, Shark. I like it, my guy. Let's go over here to the streets of New York here. We got the Knicks laying 8 points versus the Detroit Pistons here, Shark. The Knicks have absolutely owned these guys in recent years, my guys. Owned them, Shark. You like anything in this spot, my brother? Do the Knicks continue to own them?
I do. Buy hat engaged. And I think there's a lot more to just the Knicks owning the Pistons. This is the entire league owning the Pistons this year on the road. And when you really start to go through Detroit's calendar, it's really just disrupted, and it's a complete change from what they did last year. And I think this really is the roster change. You know, you got Jaden Ivey in the starting lineup. You got 2 point guards, basically. You got Cade Cunningham, real long out of Oklahoma State, and then you got Jaden out of the Big Ten, Purdue. But you're running 2 point guards concurrent to each other, which is a little weird. You bring in Bogdanovich from Utah, generational gap. The guy's 10 years older than these players. And then you insert Jalen Duren into the second unit. So, again, this is one of those environments where it's just insanity that Detroit could be just an absolute ATS juggernaut last year in the spring and then flip their roster up and come back and be the polar opposite. And we're taking the first quarter and the first half here specifically. I'm on New York Knicks first quarter -2.5, first half -4.5. And what you're looking at here is more so, even with more emphasis centered on fading Detroit in the first quarter and the first half on the road. Go through these games. At New York, Friday, October 21st, blowout in both. Tuesday, October 25th at Washington, blowout in both. At Milwaukee twice. Key point here. They did cover at Milwaukee on October 31st, Halloween night. They did not cover the first quarter or the first half. They didn't cover it in the second leg either. And, of course, they got hammered at Boston in the previous game early. The only game this year that Detroit has covered the first quarter and the first half was a game at Indiana in the division on Saturday, October 22nd, but very specific stuff. We always talk about this. Was this on Detroit or was this on Indiana? Guess what? It was on Indiana. Indiana was on a 3rd and 4 home back-to-back coming off a track meet loss the previous night to the Spurs, a game in which Indiana had come out smoking hot. And we talk about this all the time. That's why we suggested Atlanta would come out well last night. Indiana did the reversal. Night 1 against San Antonio, they came out smoking hot. Night 2, they came out cold, and it was only in the first quarter. Indiana came back and won that game and covered. On the road this year in the first half, Detroit has played 1 good quarter. That's it. And final point, you get the Knicks in a great environment. The Knicks coming home off a road loss are 4-0 in this environment. Against Detroit before first quarter and first half, and against Atlanta, a game I had incorrectly for the game. The Knicks came out and absolutely hammered them first quarter and first half. Knicks just got shelled at Brooklyn. They were terrible early. They're going to be great tonight. Madison Square Garden, stand the hell up. First quarter, -2.5. First half, -4.5 official.
Yeah, I could not talk you off there. Knicks have beaten the Pistons 9 straight times. They're 8-1 against the spread last night as well. Sometimes when you own a team, you just own them, man. And obviously, the Pistons are not playing well right now as well. So couldn't talk you off that. And Cade Cunningham is questionable as well, guys. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, if he is out, this line could obviously really go the other way as well. It could really go up for the Knicks. So I'd say if you maybe like this one, maybe take it down. Be interested to see what happens with Cade Cunningham. Knicks looking for a bounce back as well. Couldn't talk you off the spots there, Shar. Obviously, the Pistons have been so lackluster this year, man. It's so tough to it'd be hard to back the Pistons right now, my guys. I don't have anything on this game. I hope you guys cash on this one. Let's go over here to the streets of San Antonio here, Shar. We got the Spurs laying 1.5 points. It was 2.5 earlier this morning, down to 1.5 here. The Bucks, 10-1 Bucks, getting 1.5 here on the road versus the Spurs here, Shark. You like anything here?
No, this is going to be tough. I think obviously when you pull Drew Holiday and you pull Giannis Antetokounmpo off the roster here, I mean, I don't know what happened. Obviously, the previous game, he sits out like 2 hours before the game or something. He's playing golf the previous day. I mean,
he was playing golf?
Yeah, he was in a golf tournament. There was a viral video of him hitting a putt and celebrating. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that shit. No, what are we doing here, man? So, no damn knee ain't hurt, man.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it's frustrating because, I mean, I've sat here on this show for 3 years now praising Giannis for professionalism, staying with the Bucks, you know, being loyal, winning a championship. But I just feel like load management is just a viral thing in the league now. It's almost like it's like the cool thing to do. I feel like we're in high school. It's like, you know, somebody decides something's cool, all of a sudden everybody does it. Like, it's not cool to sit out professional basketball games and freeload $500,000 checks. Like, when did this become a cool thing? Anyway, he's sitting out tonight again. He's probably not injured. And now you get San Antonio laying points at home. Of course, San Antonio has been an ATS darling at home as an underdog. As a favorite now, this could be problematic. And you saw what the Milwaukee backups did the last game at Oklahoma City and the previous home game against Oklahoma City too. They're 2-0 ATS with 2 outright wins. And one corollary point, the opener of the year where Charlotte, and we know Charlotte is not very good, was laying 1 point at San Antonio, which was, I believe, their shortest home line of the year in terms of the strength for San Antonio. I had said in the opener, I thought Charlotte would come in there and hammer their ass. They did. And I think the Spurs are a little too hot ATS. I would lean the Bucks in this one to continue this backup Ciroc on ice movement here.
I don't think so here, man. I'm hopping on the Spurs here, my guys. They are 7-1 against the spread last 8 meetings. They've lost 5 straight. This is a winnable game as well, man. A couple guys for the Bucks. This team is coming off a double overtime game as well, man, versus the Thunder over there. It's the 3rd straight road game. They got a couple of revenge spots versus top-tier Eastern Conference opponents versus the Hawks and the Cavs. I see this is a total look-ahead spot, my guys. Nothing's guaranteed, but I am rocking with the Spurs here. It did open up as them plus 1.5. Obviously, even with the injuries, it did sense there's money that's flipped this line to minus 1.5 for the Spurs here. Give me the Spurs here, my guys, going up against. I know what Lopez played 50. He played 45 minutes in the double overtime game. Javon Carter 45. He's a younger guy, but the rest of the guys over 35 minutes here. Spurs basically with full squad. Give me the Spurs here minus the 1.5. Like I say, with the Bucks having these revenge spots on deck, the fact that they're sitting Giannis and Drew here, man, these guys probably not hurt. They started out smoking hot. What did I say? Once they take their first loss, they're kind of sort of chill out here. All right, let's not go balls to the wall. Let's go undefeated as long as we can. Then when we finally take their loss, then we know it's early season. We got high aspirations to get to the championship far in the playoffs. This is just somewhat of a throwaway game in my opinion. Could the Bucks backup still win it? Or it's not really backups. It's just Giannis and Drew out. So they still got 3 starters and still the bench guys in there. But give me the Spurs in this one. Like I said, 5 straight losses, a very winnable game, and Pop has showed that he can coach real well versus Budenholzer over there. So, like I say, 7-1 against the spread last 8. They've shown to play well versus the Bucks. Give me the Spurs here at the house, minus 1.5. Friday night game. Let's go, my guys. Spurs, top play of the day, minus the 1.5. Sorry, let's get over here to the next game, my brother. Let's go over here to the streets of Oklahoma City here, where the Bucks just came from. You got the Thunder getting 5 points here, coming off a double overtime game, man. SJ almost won the game, and then they went and fouled Bobby Portis over there, I believe. To say that he almost hit the game winner, man. It was a damn good shot with Wesley Matthews. I was watching the game. Shark, how you like this game, my guy?
Buy hat engaged. Oklahoma City Thunder. A fine little print it is on a beautiful Friday morning here on the East Coast. November 11, 2022. We're at +5, 1 unit official. And this is just a great game spot. This checks every box that I look at. And Jay, I do want to make a comment on that Spurs game just for a half second. I think you're right. Now that I'm thinking about it deeper, I think you're right. Spurs are trending up to a win. So I think you're on there.
Yeah, that was the last thing, Sharp. They are teetering on a win. They took the Grizzlies to double overtime. Damn, they almost won that game as well. So they seem to be playing towards a win. They played a good game there. I think they keep it going here, Sharp.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just as much as we talk about teams teetering towards a loss, they're coming up to an outright win. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. But staying with this, I think the Thunder are also coming up to an outright win. And the line functionality here is very good. It's my starting point to cap, and then I go through a lot of layers, so we'll talk about it for a half second. But last year, Oklahoma City did win outright on the road in Toronto at +7.5. And these teams have actually split heads up the last 4 years. The Thunder just played the Raptors well, or maybe it's the Raptors don't play up to the Thunder. Either way. And then it came back in Oklahoma City, where Toronto was -7.5 at home. It should have come down off a loss to about 4.5, 2.5. It actually came all the way up to -10, which was a blowout line versus line functionality. And Toronto did hammer them 117-98. So now you get the same gym, 19-point win on a 10. Revenge game Thunder, it comes down to 5.5, getting steam down. And I think very important stuff. Toronto's on a front end back-to-back. Their only front end back-to-back of the year was at Brooklyn. And we know this. Brooklyn at the time was a horrendous home basketball team. And Brooklyn covered against Toronto before Toronto went to Miami the following night. Now Toronto has to play essentially a little sandwich game off a game at home against Houston, a lackluster one at that, now at OKC before they come back north within the Eastern Conference for a game tomorrow night at the now 6-0 last 6 Indiana Pacers. And slightly more specific stuff here, which I think is very important. This is the third game for Toronto at the West, excuse me. At the West at San Antonio, -9. We had said this. That was a blowout line for Toronto, and they did blow them out by 43 points. +4 at Dallas. We said push line. They lost the game by 1. They made a late push late. It was really tight. This is the first line that is on the opponent specifically. We had on Toronto, then push. This is the first one on the opponent. And key stuff for Oklahoma City here versus the East at home. The only line that was on them this year so far, they were -3 versus Orlando, and they did cover. And, of course, they're coming off a loss in a revenge game, catching Toronto in the sandwich spot. 1 unit official, Oklahoma City +5.
Yeah, you made some good points in there one, Shark. And the Raptors somewhat kind of teetering on a loss as well. They had covered 4 straight, then dropped the last 2 against the spread as well. So maybe they're due to lose one outright. We know SGA is from Toronto as well. Maybe look at some SGA props in this one. I know every time he plays against the Raptors, he has some extra motivation in that one, my guy. So definitely couldn't talk you off the home dog in this one, Shark. And this line was at 5.5 as well. Come down to 5. So maybe some sharp money coming there on the Thunder in this one, my guys. Could not talk you off. Sorry, let's go over here to the streets of Memphis here, man. We got the Grizzlies laying 4 points versus the Wolves here. And this game has me, I don't know, feeling some type of way, man. I'm not sure what to do with this game, man. The Grizzlies somewhat teetering on a loss, right? They come off that double overtime game versus the Spurs in that one. But this is playoff revenge for the Wolves. Wolves lost 5 of their last 6 games. They do not look good right now. The offense is in a rut. Why did they bring Gobert over there? But this line come down from 5.5 to 4 here, bro. It's just like, I want to take the Wolves here to get back right, but they just look so horrible, bro. They look so. Can we do it here, or do you think the Grizzlies continue to clean them up, my guy?
I don't know. It's tough. It really is tough. And going through the matchups last year, the line was telling us a pretty good story, but it really started to get sharp. And again, this is regular season stuff here. You can't really look at lines in the postseason. But the last matchup, you did find Memphis lose at Minnesota on a -2. So when you're -2 road, you come back at 5.5. It's right in that sharp zone. And I think that's what it's going to be. Obviously, you mentioned the playoff revenge, which is a huge standout point. But this group is disrupted right now, as you said. Rudy Gobert is not working. And I mean, there was a clip last game of D'Lo, who was apparently supposed to be playing, like stretching on the sideline during a defensive possession, and the opponent was 5-on-4. I mean, this team is not showing signs of any sort of mental focus here. And the other side of this game, I think, we had said this, but Memphis started their home calendar this year with 5 consecutive games against the East. They've played 3 straight lackluster ones. Did not cover a home game against Washington. They did cover against Boston, so excuse me, that was an ATS cover, an outright loss nonetheless. And then, of course, they burned us the other night against San Antonio. Again, they just gave it away in the third quarter and just whatever. So I think, obviously, yes, you do want to buy the Wolves. They're a buy team in theory, and Memphis is coasting right now. Memphis has not been playing great basketball. The line is shortening up. It's probably sharp action. I don't know, though. I really don't know. I'll throw it back to you. I really have no lean on this game. It's tough stuff.
I want to lean Wolves. I can't bet them right now. And the Grizzlies have won 4 out of the last 5, but they've only covered 2 of their past 7 games. So that's kind of what Shark's saying. The Grizzlies are winning, but they're also, I mean, you could be teetering on a win, you could be teetering on a loss. It just feels like the Grizzlies not really playing top tier right now. But the way the Wolves playing, man, good God. I mean, Russell, it's just so crazy to me, bro, because Russell was the engine that really made them go last year. Remember when Russell was out, the team was playing horrible. When he was in there, they're running and gunning. He's making threes, Cat's balling. It just seems like this. Gobert coming there, Gobert struggling, Cat struggling, Anthony Edwards struggling, D'Angelo Russell, they didn't give him the contract extension. It's really getting his head. It just seemed like he just forgot how to play basketball, man. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to go to another team the way that he's playing right now. So it's even a worse look seeing him out there stretching on the sideline. It's 5-on-4. So we also see clips of Anthony Edwards just standing there. They're running offensive plays. You can tell it's not for him. And he's just like, I'm taking a play off here, man. That's things to notice here, man. So I can't play this game. I would like to lean Wolves early and often, but it's just they're playing so terrible right now, guys. I hope you understand. But I understand people taking the Wolves. It's a tough game. I don't have to bet every game, so I'm not. But the lean would definitely be Wolves first half and full game there, my guy. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they did come out here. It's just so tough. I can't put money on it, Sharp. Let's get over here. 2 more games here. We're going to the Golden Streets, San Francisco. We got the Warriors here, laying 2.5 points versus the Cavs. Cavs coming off 2 straight losses here, Shark. I think there were some splitters that Garland is sick. I think they said Garland and Mitchell was sick, but I know Garland for sure. It was a little under the weather. They did have a day off. This is the last game of a 5-game West Coast road trip. These late night sleepy games seem to be affecting these Cavs, Shark. I just think that's interesting, right? Some things people never really look at. East Coast teams on the West Coast on the East. It's affecting the Cavs right now, Shark. But I can tell you one thing that I would do, and they talked about this in the interviews as well after the last game versus the Kings. They talked about how they got to come out with a lot better effort and defense as well. I'll be looking at Cavs first quarter and first half in this one, my guys. That's how I'm looking at it in this game. Obviously, the Warriors have been lackluster, not playing championship-style defense, not championship-style offense as well. Everything's been going through Curry. If Curry has a bad night or is off, the rest of the team isn't really balling like that. This Cavs team is a top-tier team, Shark. I think they really try to show their quality here versus the champs, defending champs. I want to take Cavs first half here, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't talk you off it. Obviously, I had the idea going back to Wednesday, which did not come to fruition. I mean, obviously, it was just not the day of the week for me that particular day. But I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I think the Cavs have to come out here. The Cavs are in a double revenge game. I'm not entirely sure how much that emotionally plays. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell coming over here. I think it plays more emotionally than not. I mean, the core group is still there from last year. And the line is not telling you a story here at all. Last year, the Dubs laid 9.5 on the road. It was a ridiculous game. I don't know if people remember this particular game. I actually had the Dubs minus 9.5 there to fade what was a hot early season Cleveland team. I thought the bet was dead until the Dubs went off in the fourth quarter, 36-8 to cover the game and win by 15. And then they came back. It was actually a short line at -8. Dubs got them again, 96-82. I think the issue for me in this game is the Dubs at some point in time are going to improve. They have been absolutely awful so far. And Cleveland's been hot. I mean, Cleveland's 8-1. They have 3 wins in overtime. Jay, I think you're onto something with the early look here. I don't know if Cleveland gets there for the game, however, because, again, when I look at Cleveland's schedule, when you come out 8-1 on this campaign and you had 3 overtime wins, it's going to be the regression coming the other direction in a small window. It's obviously come down the last 2 games. What's that?
I was just saying they lost the last 2 games. They 8-3 on the season.
Yeah, no, I meant start of the season 8-1.
Okay. No, I got you.
Yeah, sorry if I misspoke. I'm getting coffee. We're jacking it up. We're riding the wave. It's going down. But that is a key point. When you start 8-1, but 3 wins were in overtime, that's running hot in a small window. And I think it's come the other direction. Obviously, the game at the Clippers, they could have won that game. The game at Sacramento, they just really kind of laid an egg. They didn't play well the whole game. Mm-hmm. So it is a bounce back from that standpoint, double revenge. But again, my problem with fading the Dubs is just the fact that the Dubs at some point are going to improve. So I just don't know on this one.
They've lost 14 or 15 straight games to the Warriors in the regular season. I think that means something here. Like that, they've been losing forever. This is a new Cavs team. I'll go out on a limb and say that they're better than the Warriors team this year. I know that Garland is a little sick. That's holding me back a little bit. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know if I'm going to post this one yet, but I bet Cavs in the first half, my guy. I bet them first half plus 1.5 and plus 115. I think the Cavs come out here with some significance. And I think that game versus the Kings was a clear takeoff. They just took that game off. They were probably looking ahead to this one. They know it's the last game, probably the most important game on this road trip. Obviously, they started out in Detroit, went to LA. Anybody could beat them. They did start out lackluster in that first half. All 3 of these first halves, they basically started out lackluster. You see what I'm saying? And they talked about it. We can't keep starting out bad, trying to come behind and beat teams. We know what the Warriors do. They're hot. They're more hot in the third quarter. They kind of come out in the first half, just BSing around, fill you out, and then really like make some adjustments. Okay, look, this is what they're doing. This is where we're going to stop in the third quarter, and it works every single game. But this is one where if you want to take the Cavs here, anything, I don't want to take them full game where it's late night game turned into where it's like 1 o'clock in the morning on their body clock, guys. That's what you have to realize here with these coast to coast type of games. So late night, it seems like they're run out of gas, but to come into this game with some first quarter, first half, that's what I'll be looking at the Cavs with. They will want this game, guys. Be very motivated as well. When you've lost 14, 15 straight to a team, yeah, you know that shit. Let's just put it that way. I still wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs won the game as well, straight up. Bounce back J spot off 2 straight losses here. Last game up, Shark. Let's go over here to the streets of LA here, man. I don't even care about this game. Lakers getting 4 versus the Kings, Shark.
Yeah, I don't like this game either. I mean, again, the Lakers burned us the other night. I think the Lakers proved to us that they really are a poorly constructed roster. And it's unfortunate, obviously, when you see LeBron James out there. I like LeBron. I've never really made the comment on the broadcast. I like LeBron. I think he's a good guy. I think he has a great family. I think he's had a great career. He's made a couple mistakes in and out, but I think he's had a great career in general. And I like LeBron. I don't like to see him go down like this, but I think it's more so the front office. I mean, I don't think Darvin Ham is the right coach for this group. I think you and I talked about this briefly in the very beginning of the year, but I think Darvin Ham is much better served coaching a young group that's really going to buy into his mentality. I mean, this roster, obviously led by LeBron, Westbrook, some of these older guys, they don't want that. I mean, they want like a Phil Jackson. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but just a guy who's going to let them play and be zen, like not trying to coach them on defense and all this crap. And I mean, just in terms of roster construction, no shooters. You got Westbrook on the second unit, and now you pull LeBron off the roster. I believe he's not playing tonight. This is where it becomes even more difficult to figure out, because I think now maybe without LeBron as some sort of potential distraction, they might play ball. I don't know. Because, I mean, I don't think they're going to go, 2 and whatever their record would be, 2 and 70.
2 and 80. 2 and 80.
2 and 80, right. And, I mean, like, they got to get one at some point. Sacramento's in a weird spot, coming off a big win against Cleveland. Sacramento is running clean against the spread. They are, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0 last 6 ATS, potentially, depending on what line you got at Orlando. This team's hot against the spread. But key point here, those are all Eastern road games and games as an underdog. So now they're favored. Again, take LeBron off the roster. Moving parts everywhere in this game.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything with this game. Yeah, I used to be a huge LeBron guy, Short. Like, especially when he was first in Cleveland, even when he went to Miami, then I just saw the killer instinct stop. Then he just started. I don't know. He really lost something, man. But yeah, he lost me. I'm not really a LeBron fan anymore. I don't respect any of these guys over there. Anthony Davis, they really seem like they just kind of given up on the season already, guys. So I don't like their body language. Obviously, there will be games against somewhat lower teams that they can win winnable games. I guess you could call the Kings that they are up and coming team. I like their roster, do have a brand new head coach over there who used to coach LeBron. Am I laying points with the Kings on the road? Not necessarily. So that's where I'm saying here, where I'm not necessarily saying that I guess the Kings could be one of those teams where the Lakers could possibly beat. They did already beat them 2 times this season, I believe, in the regular season and in the preseason they smoked them. So I don't know. I'm not betting the Lakers. I'm not betting their games, period, because we don't know when they are going to turn up, my guys. So yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I hope best of luck on this game, guys. I hope you guys cash. Let's talk about. I'd rather talk about some shirts. Shark, I had said that. Well, I'd rather talk about some shirts in this game, man. But $10 off shirts. Use promo code WIN10. This is the last day that you can get the $10 off the shirts and the free glasses, my guys. Jay and Shark shirts, only $15, man. Get those orders in. Get a free pair of J Money approved glasses as well, man. Look, Shark got some. Look, that's the shirt right there, man. J Money and the Shark. We like cash, quick and fast. Shark got some nice shades. Nice shades on as well. Smack City shirts, Us Against The Bookies, and let's get some cash, guys. Go hit the website, jmoneyismoney.com, or just DM me on Twitter, or you can DM Shark as well. $15 for the Jay and Shark shirts. Please show some support. That's the only thing we ask here, giving out free NBA picks 6 days a week, my guys, multiple times, doing about 30 shows. You see what I'm saying? And NFL shows as well. But let's get to some free NBA picks. Shark, what you like on tonight's card?
Absolutely. 4 top plays, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the way we got out of the water. Nuggets on the road at the East. Incredibly sustainable stuff. First quarter plus 1.5. 7-1 last 8 as a first quarter underdog at the East. Buy that and let's dominate. Knicks early, first quarter minus 2.5. First half minus 4.5. As fully discussed, Knicks off a road loss in which they came out terribly in the first quarter and first half, come back home, jacked up against the Detroit team that has been rebooted roster-wise and is really sustainably poor on the road, particularly early. And the buy hat is engaged. We're going down to Oklahoma City. A nice locale it is, +5 against the Raptors. Revenge game line number, 1 unit official. Free Friday, November 11th, 2022. J Money, close them out and let's dominate.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. One top look for me today. I'm going Spurs minus 1.5. Top play, 7-1 against the spread last 8 meetings versus the Bucks. Bucks got a couple of much bigger games coming up. A quick revenge spot versus the Hawks. Then they play the Cavs as well. The guys, big teams coming up, my guys. And off that double overtime game, which they won. So this game is even more where it doesn't really matter if they take a loss here, my guys. So anything can happen. Bucks could still possibly win, but I'm not rocking with it. I'm going with the Spurs in this one. Minus 1.5. Top play of the day. And also, personally, I bet Cavs first half. It's a little bit smaller, but that's what I bet, my guys. Can talk you off Cavs first quarter, first half. Spurs minus 1.5. Top play. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Go get a shirt as well. $15, man. Come on. It's like gas. That's lunch money right there, man. Like my guy said in the chat, $10 off shirts. Use promo code WIN10. It's the last chance to get them. $10 off. Why not, my guys? It's Friday. It's payday. Let's get some cash, Shark. We're going undefeated today. One time for the one time. We out, my guys. We will win. We back tomorrow.